you're starting a new job, irrespective of whether it is your first one or your fifth one, or you're simply transitioning to the corporate sector, you must watch this video. Many of us, especially in the initial phases of a life, join organizations with a lot of enthusiasm, but with limited clarity on what to do and how to do it. We assume responsibility based on notions or limited information from wrong sources and strive extremely hard to achieve goals which may not even figure on the organization's priority list. Obviously, this leads to disappointing results for the individual as well as the company. Also, a large segment of sincere employees get sidestepped in spite of delivering good results. The question to ask is why? Why do good people get sidelined? It is because the corporate world has multiple components apart from business numbers, which need to be identified, understood, and worked upon. So what are these components and how does one master them all? Welcome to the Salt Pepper Insights. We are one of the most practical explanation of corporate life you will ever find anywhere. This vlog chalks out a simple to understand navigation plan for a successful corporate journey and ensures the maximum returns on the efforts for individuals. By the end of the vlog, you will have a much better understanding of the 6 essential components of the corporate world and have a clear idea of handling them all. Hi, I'm Suman Mazumdar, a decorated commando of the Indian Army turned financial services professional in India's multi-billion-dollar financial ecosystem. Salt Pepper Insights is a painstaking collation of learnings spanning over 2 decades about what you should and should not do at the workplace for achieving accelerated growth. Though the working conditions in special forces and the financial sector are worlds apart, the success DNA is scarily identical. The insights offered on this vlog are based on guidance from veterans as well as industry stalwarts, debriefed after successful missions as well as successful annual target chases. Candid conversations over mugs of beer, whether in some isolated mess or in the savviest of bars in town. Feedback received from outstanding supervisors to micromanagers. Interviews, discussions, performance reviews conducted with hundreds of team members over the years. Random chats with freshers as well as interns. Interaction with the family members of employees as well as employees themselves. Brainstorming sessions with the product as well as strategy team. Working with motivated team members as well as those with little lack of direction. And lastly, training and hiring inputs received from HR of various organizations. Here onwards, you will get to learn about the 6 essential components of corporate life. There are 5 points under each head. These lists are not exhaustive, but they contain points that came up again and again, year after year in my interaction with various segments of the team. Points mentioned here figure not only because of their strategic or tactical value, some points find place in the list by the virtue of being the plain truth. By the time you complete this vlog, you will have a clear picture of each component, understanding which all myth and wrong notions to discard and which new practices to embrace for a better professional future. The first component is the company or the office, or call it a startup. Understanding what working in a company means is half the battle won. It won't be incorrect to say the remaining 5 components will be easier to comprehend if the company universe is understood clearly. Please remember, number 1, the company is a place of work. Professionals like you and me are hired by the organization are expected to go to the office to get the work done on a daily basis. If you know how to complete the job, you do it. Else, you ask for guidance, learn the correct way, and then you deliver. Distractions like the social media for personal use and breaks for socializing should be strictly avoided during the working hours. They are not only ethically incorrect, they also impact your productivity and your work reputation. Second point, the nature of work is 100% transactional, and let nobody make you believe otherwise. When you accept a job, it is an agreement under which you offer your services for a stipulated number of hours every day, and at the end of the month, the company pays you for your services. When the value of work goes lower than the value of salary, the company has the right to terminate the transactional agreement. That means fire people. One easy way to ensure high value of work is to ensure you meet your daily and monthly targets on a regular basis. Third, professional reputation matters. Efficient, dependable, fair, trustworthy, team player, hardworking are some of the adjectives or phrases you should strive to get associated with your name at the workplace. The office is neither a place to flaunt how cool you are with your who cares attitude, nor is it a place to showcase your newfound independence after staying with your parents or under regimentation for ages. Also, individuals whose claim to fame in the office is as a flag bearer of the latest gossip is certainly not climbing the corporate ladder anytime soon. Fourth, office hours technically belong to the organization. Hence, use the time judiciously. If working hours commences at 9:30, you should reach office 10 minutes prior and ensure your work starts by 9:30. Coming late is unprofessional and not appreciated in the professional world. Reaching late to office or to the meetings regularly indicates disciplinary issues. Discipline is an important ingredient for rising up the corporate ladder. So every time you reach a place or an appointment late, whether you believe it or not, the distance to the corner office also increases. This also means leave your office on time. 6 बज गए, घर के लिए निकल जाइए. Interestingly, as per Mr. Aditya Puri, the founder MD of HDFC Bank, most of the employees in the office chit-chat a lot and treat it as a place to socialize. This is incorrect. Communicate during office hours and socialize during non-office hours. And the last point under this head. Office get-togethers and official parties are not optional events. These are inevitable extension of the office work and an integral part of the culture. It is your professional obligation to attend. These events are neither frequent nor are they very sudden. So plan your presence accordingly. And remember, your presence may not make a difference, but your absence certainly will. The second component in the corporate universe is the job or the role that you have. In a company, every single person works towards a common goal. And to achieve it, every individual is given a separate role and responsibility. As in an orchestra, every member's role is unique and important and essential for creating the necessary music. Your job too is unique and the company depends on you to deliver it. The goal as well as the strategy to reach that goal is decided by the top management. But the success of the strategy depends on every individual's performance at every level. So how do you do justice to your role? Simply by understanding it first. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to get a clear picture of the role by going through the job description, discussing with HR representative, speaking to your immediate supervisor, as well as to your peer group members. Role explained on paper and work needed on ground may vary, and in reality will vary. Hence emphasizing the need of confirming from various sources. Next, the initial training imparted by the organization should not be missed under any circumstances. This training helps in understanding the organization, the product, the processes, as well as the employee benefits. Missing out on essential information may lead to understanding gaps later because a lot of important items are not spoken about by anybody, and it is taken for granted that these basic information will already be known by every employee. But the question is how and from where? Next, gather information on similar roles from other companies. Compare the responsibility and see if you can identify any additional points that can make your role more meaningful and meatier. Responsibilities in the same role keeps changing as per relevance, process change, customer needs, technology enhancements, and operational restructuring. If your predecessors did not find the need to change, does not mean that you should also not explore. Stay curious and keep upskilling yourself to safeguard yourself from future anticipated or non-anticipated changes. Next, An efficient feedback system is the backbone of every successful leader and successful organization. For your role, you will need to figure out on priority how the information will flow from your manager to you and from you to your reportees and vice versa. Feedback taken or given must cover 4 operational things: business, customers, as well as personal issues, in a regimented way to track things. And the 4th point, the familiarization should include the reports that may be received from other departments or from the central MIS team. You should know the source of each report, the frequency of receiving the report, and how the data is to be interpreted. These reports act not only as a business tracking window, if utilized well, can help generate more business and improve your work plan. To be good in any role would also mean being aware of things and sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing with people. Agreeing and disagreeing should be based strictly on organizational good and not on the designation of the person with whom you are engaging. Your point of view must always be backed by data and not by intuition. There should be no emotions involved in any discussion, especially while disagreeing in the corporate sector. The 3rd component. Supporting expectations is a concoction of hope, dreams and ambition of people around you, and hence makes this the most important people criteria. Since the role and responsibilities of every individual is different in an organization, it is important to be on the same page with the team members. Asking seniors about their expectation of you and setting expectation of people reporting to you is therefore one of the smartest corporate move that you can ever make. This also means that you should be clear about the vision and mission of the organization. Both are chalked down by the senior management and will give you a clear picture of the direction that the organization wants to head. The collated points that follow will give you a great start, guys, but keep adding to it. So what are the points? Point 1, the expectation of supervisors. Supervisors expect you to deliver results no matter what the demand is. And that demand may be based on good analysis, great analysis, or a wrong strategy. However, remember, an out-of-the-world expectation can also be viewed as an opportunity. If you find that a flawed expectation has been shared with the team members and most of the people will not be able to deliver, this is the place where the opportunity lies for you when the world is saying humse na ho payega. If you can deliver consistently when nobody else can, or only a few can, you will come out of the situation as Mr. or Miss Dependable. The supervisor expects you to fight and win national as well as local contests. Winning contests gets you the necessary tick marks against multiple traits like business capability, motivation, competitive spirit, etc., etc. Significantly, all the 3 that I just mentioned are identified as strong leadership traits. Apart from business, the supervisor also expects you to be aware of latest development like product releases, feature upgradations, process changes, scheduled trainings, pending customer queries, competition news, etc. and expects you to ensure the same for all the team members who report to you. A point that needs to be highlighted in bold. Please remember, if your supervisor has given you a task, please give the feedback the moment the work gets done. Do not, I repeat again, do not wait for him or her to ask you about it. Needless to add, do remember, you have the right to say no to any illegal expectation or any expectation where your dignity is getting bruised. Next comes your reportees. What do they expect? Your reportees only expect a healthy working environment from you, based on clear communication, fair decisions, providing non-biased opportunities, regular guidance to enhance business numbers, according respect, and standing up for them when it matters. Every member expects to get groomed as a leader of tomorrow while having the supporting atmosphere to speak their minds today. If you're in a position of authority, do not strangle the feedback system because people are giving a feedback which is not up to your expectation. Next comes your family members. Family members of all reportees expect a workplace which is challenging and yet stress-free. They want the respective bread earners to feel good about going to the office and not get burnt out by even thinking of going to the workplace. They expect him or her to earn the maximum possible in their respective roles and improve their overall standard of living. The fourth element of this component is extremely critical. Customers. They form the invisible part of this ecosystem, are the financial contributors, and hence are the royalty of the system. This segment has the power to shift from invisible mode to loud mode at a exponential speed, if bothered. They expect correct information, less disturbance, and resolution to their problems on priority. Extend these three things and you have a loyal customer eating off your hand for life. The last point, other team members like the guards, the housekeeping staff, the office runners form one of the most important pillars of this component. They play their part without expecting much. Their only expectation from you is to acknowledge their presence to begin with and their work subsequently. Dignity of work must not only be discussed, it must be accorded to. One of the arts to master in the corporate sector is the art of according priority to tasks in hand. This is the fourth component. Practicing this will help you to optimize your time, increase your productivity, and reduce stress for sure. A lot of assignments may come your way at the same time. You may not have the resource or the bandwidth to work simultaneously on all of them. Instead of getting overwhelmed with the situation, be prepared beforehand. What do you need to do? Point number 1. At the beginning of every month, create a list of work that needs to be done and put in their deadlines along with it. Second point. Accord priority to the task based on urgency, value, reward, and risk involved in it. Third, collaborate and agree on deadlines where multiple people or departments are involved. Your role may vary, hence, in some roles, collaboration means 100% of your work. In some roles, it is 100% individual work, and others are in between. So please work accordingly. The fourth point, every evening, religiously check for approaching deadlines of the next day and incorporate new tasks or remove completed ones. For the next day, segregate the task under must do, should do, can do, or won't do. Delegate tasks wherever required. You do not have to be, I repeat, you do not have to be physically present for initiating every task. Lack of delegation is one of the biggest cause of time mismanagement of modern times. And the last point, any critical item shared by a supervisor, howsoever suddenly becomes a fire item. If you have urgent existing deadlines and the timeline clashes with what the supervisor has given, it is better to speak to the supervisor and seek clarity on the priority of task completion. The fifth and the most important component of the corporate world is achieving targets, and that too consistently. They say some equal are more equal. Treat your business numbers as that equal. What did I mean? Kya bol gaya main? I meant getting numbers is the most crucial responsibility that you are expected to fulfill. You may be a great human being, having fantastic relationship with everyone at place of work, but at the end, in a business house, what matters is how much business did you bring on board. So what do you have to do for it? It's easy. Firstly, know your PPPT well. Product, pitch, process, and your target. Being thorough and updated with the latest product features helps in better quality pitches to the client. Customer queries can be resolved more confidently and more promptly. Better pitches increase the chances of your conversion. The moment a customer agrees to buy a product, the process must be seamlessly rolled out, and this is possible only when you know about it. Knowing the target helps in prioritizing and planning the pace of work for each product. From the monthly target, draw the required weekly and daily run rates. Every evening, track your achievements and recalculate the required run rate for every product. Do course corrections wherever it is required. Secondly, utilize every resource that the organization has to offer to meet your targets. Organizations have databases of potential clients, and they also procure additional data from various sources. The moment any data is shared with you, work on it on priority, because it may be possible that by mistake the same data may have been shared with some other people or some other department too. Utilize product trainings whenever they are conducted. Treat product trainings as a sponsored investment for you to earn more incentive. Do not miss them. Whenever new initiatives are tried by the organization to generate lead, volunteer to be part of pilot projects. A lot of people may say that don't be a jumping jack, do not volunteer for anything. But please move beyond this thing. The third point, understand the seasonality based customer demand of your products. There are certain months where some products may sell more or may sell less. When any of your products sell more due to a specific reason or a festival or lack of availability of competitors' product, make a killing. Because if you don't, somebody else will. If not from your organization, surely from some other organization. During some months, if clients do not buy your products due to religious reasons or holiday season, look at alternates available to you. If there are more holidays in a week or a month, be smart enough to put in more efforts on the limited working days available to you. The fourth point, targets of focus product may change as per organizational requirement. Please do not get emotionally stuck to the old target or product. For example, if for the last 3 months the product was A, which had to be sold, and it took you 3 months to master the art of selling it, and suddenly the organization shifts its focus to product B. Be dynamic enough to learn how to sell product B and start selling it immediately. Do not latch on to product A since you had invested time on it. Time and tide waits for none. And in reality, even organizations won't. Now, this is the last and the most valuable tip for achieving your targets month after month. If the organization sales cycle is from 1st of the month till 31st of the month, you must follow a business cycle which commences on the 29th of previous month and ends by 28th of this present month. Following this method will ensure target completion and will also ensure you're not part of the month-end choke, which will take place for sure. If you complete your targets by 28th of every month, you will have 2 to 3 days in your hand to prepare for the next month. This preparation will help you to cut down the number of days required for completing your target. And if you fail to meet your business numbers by the 28th of the month, you still have a couple of days to meet the target. You are always a winner with this simple tweak. This has been followed by multiple successful leaders and organizations. These are proven good practices. You need to go over this section a few times. Read, understand, implement. Read, understand, implement. And finally, the sixth and the final component, relationships, which acts as a lubricant to keep the entire corporate machinery moving. The essential ingredients of workplace relationship, like any other relationship, are respect, trust, communication, and fairness in conduct. Good relationships are source of sustenance and makes handling work pressure much easier. Individual good relationships have the power to award you with lifelong friends. And when majority of people at workplace can ensure good relationships, it leads to an organization with great culture. We will not spend too much of time on this component because we have already covered expectations of various segments in detail earlier. If we can support people to meet their expectation consistently, good relationship will be an inevitable byproduct. There are, however, certain additional practical points which you need to understand and follow in spirit. First, respect is a two-way street. इस हाथ दीजिए, इस हाथ लीजिए. Conduct yourself well and watch your language always. Shouting at people is a strict no-no. Even if you see some of the so-called successful people practicing this, there will be many who made it to the top by staying civilized and yet conveying their messages. Stick to your commitments. This will help you build trust and credibility. Take out time for your team members. Learn to listen. This can happen only when you stop fiddling with your mobile or stop reverting to emails when somebody from your team is talking to you. Encourage your team members to speak up and also have the courage to receive the correct feedback. I repeat again, if you are in a position of authority, do not strangle the feedback system. If you do not like what you're hearing, change the action and not the feedback mechanism itself. Next, always appreciate in public and always criticize in private only. Never be biased towards or against anybody. And lastly, stand up for your team members if they are correct. A manager may not do so, but a leader certainly will, even if it means going against the organization or the supervisors. This compilation has been done with complete honesty, guys, and to the best of my ability. I wish somebody had guided me with these points when I had started working. Use this vlog as a stepping stone to your corporate career and watch it take off. Remember, you will be spending the prime time of your life at your place of work. Make it worth it for yourself, for the people, and for the organization you're working for. While millions of people start the journey in a similar manner, only a handful will end up making it worthy of popping a champagne or getting a statue erected. So, do not waste your time in reinventing the wheel. Utilize it to make a better mousetrap. Till we meet again, goodbye, stay safe and happy landings. And if you like it, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.